Okay guys, about to get started on the car. Got it pulled in the corner just because my brother parks in here. So got the front chalked, got a little towel to throw on the jack stand so it doesn't scratch up any of the little pinch welds or anything like that. But quick reminder, if you do have any kind of coated or any kind of wheel like with paint on it that can crack, make sure you put this on all the way and you don't bend it up or down when breaking the wheel loose. Or if you have an impact, don't like, what would you call it? Like, don't overspin it. So like once it breaks loose, don't let it keep spinning in there, because it'll like kind of wibble wobble and crack up the inside of the hole for your lug nut, and it'll crack this outside. Okay, we went ahead, pulled this knuckle off. It was pretty simple. All these bolts, you just kind of take them off, put them back in so you don't lose it. This part right here on the bottom, that goes on the A-arm or whatever you want to call it, it is kind of like not pressed in there, but it's pretty tight in there. You just kind of stick a little pry bar in there and pry it out. I was kind of stuck on that for about 2 minutes. The e-brake cable, you do have to disassemble this to get in here, right in there, and that's where this little head sits. So that took me a second to figure out how all that goes. So you just basically pull this bolt out right here. Then you take these springs out. You got 2 springs to do. Let me flip this over. That spring right there as well. Make sure you do put this back on right. I have the old one put back together. And then you just take these springs out, pop these clips out, and they're pretty easy. You just kind of push them down and then slide them forward. GoPro's doing something weird. It's not wanting to stay recording, but basically you just push these clips down, slide them forward. They hold the shoes in place. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty tedious process. This is the hardest part, I'd say, just trying to put the parking brake cable back. And we're about to go ahead and install this. I got to pull this part off that is on it. I'm not going to take that off from the car, but just going to pull that off, throw it on, and I'll show you guys once it's on there. Figure out how to get the actual knuckle onto whatever this part of the bearing is called. Let me turn the light on so you can see a little better. I couldn't really get it on there, so waited till the morning after work. It's already like 6, 7 o'clock. Got my dad to come help me, and he showed me a little trick. So basically, this thing right here sticks out once you put the bolt in, because the bolt goes in here and pushes this little sleeve out, I guess you could call it. And what you got to do is just take a random bolt, which I have this bolt right here. You don't want to use any of the bolts that are on it, just in case you mess up the threads. So I just have this random bolt and nut. So now I'm going to use my other hand. Then you push it onto something like that. You see how there's a gap, and then you're basically just going to beat this one in until that gap closes, and it should slide right onto that. That's just a cool little trick he taught me, and I haven't seen this anywhere else on YouTube, so I hope I can help out a few of you guys by showing you this trick. I'm going to set up the camera. Okay, for some reason my GoPro keeps cutting out. It's not recording all the way, so I set it up, hit record. It recorded about 2 seconds of footage. So once I pressed that sleeve back, it went right on. Setting everything up. Make sure you put all the bolts and nuts in the right place. You don't want to put this one with the big washer on the actual head of the bolt on the other side or on a different place. So just make sure you're putting the washers, because there's some washers like this, and then there's like a regular washer like that. Just make sure you're putting everything together. What I did is I hand threaded in the CV axle. Then I put this bottom one in, this one right here, from the other side, obviously. And then I kind of went around that, and then I started from the bottom and then worked my way to the top. But just make sure that you put everything in the right place, and just take your time. Everything should line up. Hey guys, garage is a mess. I got the wheel right here, but my light's dead, so I'm gonna use my phone light. Get that turned on. So it looks great, right? But you cannot use the stock brake line. You kind of have to modify it a little bit. Show you what I modified. I kind of bent it like that. Didn't bend it too much out of place, but the factory one will work. You just have to change the actual bolt that goes in it. and it should go good. But I don't have any brake fluid. I gotta go get some from the shop tomorrow, and I'm gonna paint these black just because you see it through the wheel, and it'll look better, you know, just that extra little bit. So I'm gonna do the other side tomorrow because it's already 10:21. Alright guys, we pulled up to a racetrack. Got the Brembos on. Everything rides amazing. Feels better than before. Got the front and the back on. It brakes so much harder. It's dirty, needs a little wash, but I mean it stops hard. Definitely a mod I would recommend to do. It took me like 3 or 4 nights after work consistently with all the parts I needed to get the car done, but I definitely recommend it.